If your restaurant has bugs, such as cockroaches, the Lucas County Health Department wants you to contact a licensed pest control service, because even the dead ones are a violation. Bottom line, the superintendent says if someone claiming to be from Elmwood asks for money for a cancer patient, don't give it to that person. And if you already have, call the police. Good morning, Sasha and Jeff. You've heard people in the summertime say it's hot enough to fry an egg. We are going to see if it is cold enough to freeze an egg. This has been sitting out here, the skillet, and you can see how quickly that actually just starts to turn to a frozen whiteness. Ready for this? 3, 2, 1. So you're used to this weather?
No, you never get used to it. You just have to accept it.
Patrick Patterson is known as Elvis around the post office. Every day this winter, Elvis has left the building. When it snows like this, does it take you a lot longer to get your route done?
Yeah, they have a great incentive at the post office, though. You get to go home when you're done. So,
7:18, here are your action news alerts this Saturday morning. Someone broke into the car of an off-duty police officer and stole 2 guns and a badge. This morning, Toledo police are still on the lookout for a suspect. That burglary took place in South Toledo in the overnight hours between Wednesday and Thursday. Investigators say the victim does not work for Toledo police, but is an officer with the department in Northwest Ohio. Thanks, Ben. The Toledo Area Humane Society is celebrating its 130th birthday.
Yes, last night was the annual Furball Gala. Animal lovers looked back on their accomplishments of the year and then ahead to future plans. Tony and I both honored to serve as hosts for that really fun night out there.
Hey, there we are toasting.
Hey, there you go. Good times. Last night, thousands of dollars were raised to continue the mission of not only saving animals, but finding them their forever homes.
A house explosion rocked a local neighborhood today. Take a look. These are the before and after pictures of the home we're talking about. It happened in the village of Bettsville on the north end of Seneca County, just after 8 this morning. 13 ABC's Tony Geftos takes us there.
A big blast in a small town.
One of the brick walls blew out.
Those in Bettsville say an explosion shattered the windows and cracked the walls of this home as it burst into flames. It happened around 8:15 this morning at the corner of Union and Monroe. An hour before that, some neighbors say they thought they smelled natural gas.
5 till 7 this morning, I went out to start my wife's car for work, and I smelled natural gas really strong.
We looked out the front window, and I could see then that all the windows were blown out of the house. And it seemed like about 15 minutes the whole house had just engulfed in flames.
The Bettsville fire chief says he had just dropped off his kids at school when he saw the flames himself and called for backup. Volunteers from several departments spent the morning hours hosing down that brick structure behind me. They set up a temporary pool to pump water because the fire hydrants froze up. No one was home at the time of the fire. In fact, since the owner died, neighbors say no one has lived here for a few years. But the sight of this building, partially blown apart, was still a shock to those who grew up nearby.
My wife said it was her second home because the lady that lived there was her school teacher, and she grew up babysitting for the kids. And so it's kind of hard for her to see it too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the good thing is, like we just said, no one living there at the time.
Which means no one was hurt. In Bettsville, Tony Geftos, 13 ABC, Action News. One of these men is the father of a 7-month-old child. Police in Perkins Township say that baby was inside of a car with his dad and the 3 others while the men were getting high on heroin.
It's unbelievable when you put that child way down on your list of priorities like that.
It started near the Perkins Township Walmart in the late afternoon. Someone called 911 after seeing the men throwing beer cans from a car and spotting the baby in the back. Investigators say the group went into the store and bought a box of 100 syringes. After that, they parked at the Staples, where a detective in an unmarked car saw them toss a needle out of a window. When officers confronted the men, they found alcohol, marijuana, and heroin. Some say they're not surprised.
We've heard so many where the kids have gotten taken away, friends of ours even, with kids being taken, and because heroin is just awful. I mean, it's everywhere.
Police arrested Brian Humberger of Port Clinton, Michael McDavid of Castalia, Albert Ader of Vickery, and Steve Elias from Clyde. Officers say Elias, who's 25, is the father of that 7-month-old. Even though this particular crime happened a week ago, officers in Perkins Township say heroin is an ongoing problem.
The rise of that, of the prevalence of that drug in this community has been, like I said, concerning. And we're doing what we can to try to combat it.
The baby was not hurt and was turned over to Children's Services. Meantime, these 4 men are facing a slew of charges. In Perkins Township, Tony Geftos, 13 ABC Action News.
We're bringing you the good and the not so good from the restaurants around town. Here's Tony Geftos with this week's original restaurant report card.
When they walk through restaurants, health inspectors keep a trained eye and nose out for violations. In fact, our first restaurant this week had a strong urine odor in the men's restroom. That's a violation. It happened at Monroe Street Diner. Health inspectors wrote down 12 violations during the last standard inspection. None of those were critical, including that strong urine odor in the restroom, a major leak in the mop sink, and single-use salad dressing containers were being reused. The owner of Monroe Street Diner says she and her staff have corrected all of the violations and that they're looking forward to the next inspection, plus the 20th anniversary of Monroe Street Diner this year. As for that odor of urine, the manager says we thoroughly clean our restrooms every day. However, we have added extra air freshener. Next up, Los Dos Gallos on Dorr Street near Reynolds had 13 violations. Out of those, 0 were critical. Raw fish was being thawed in standing water. It's supposed to be running. Raw bacon in the cooler was being stored above gallons of milk. And very poor lighting in the dishwashing area.
This one was one off, so now both are working right.
The owner of Los Dos Gallos, Jesus Rojas, opened her kitchen to show us everything on the list had been corrected.
In here, everything is good.
Sanitizer test kit in the bar area? Check.
We got it.
Metal stem thermometer? Check.
We know where these things are.
Meat moved and labels on? Check and check.
Meat down here. Everything is by day. We try to be the best help for all our customers, and I really want, everybody come and feel help, they're in good hands.
Finally, JoJo's Original Pizza in Mayberry Square had 14 violations. 3 of those were critical. No date label on cooked lasagna, raw ground beef stored above produce in the walk-in cooler, and build-up in the microwave. 13 ABC tried to contact someone at JoJo's Original Pizza in Sylvania. No one picked up the phone, and it did not go to voicemail. Now for the restaurants with 0 violations, including Smoke Barbecue on Tremainsville Road. Health inspectors put its name up in lights. It's violation-free. The owners, John and Judy Brown, spent most of last year renovating this building. They officially opened Smoke Barbecue mid-December with all new equipment.
We were in the restaurant business for 30 years in Toledo and then Bowling Green, and then we decided we'd do this thing over here, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
That's why health inspectors consider Smoke Barbecue a cut above the rest. For the Restaurant Report Card, Tony Geftos, 13 ABC Action News. All right, are you ready for this one? His name is Moses, but he also goes by Mr. Elastic, and there's a good reason. He's in the record books simply because he is extra stretchy.
I would like to present Monroe's own Mr. Elastic.
At Monroe County Community College, there's one man who's giving the student body a twist.
Actually, I try to keep a low profile in Monroe. I don't want people at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, let me see you turn your feet around.
Mo Lanham has a resume including America's Got Talent, Ripley's Believe It or Not, and the Guinness Book of World Records. It's all because he can do this, turn both feet completely backwards. Lanham says he discovered his ability at age 14 after he fell off the rope in gym class and his legs got twisted, but he was fine.
That even amazed myself. And then I seen that I can turn them all the way around.
The doctors said Lanham has extra cartilage and ligaments from the waist down. It's a unique trait that continues to amaze.
I think he's a really talented guy, and he should be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Are you going to try that with your feet?
No.
So you don't think you can walk like this?
No, there's no way.
The 52-year-old is still challenging schoolmates to contort themselves.
There's no way I could do that. I could barely scratch my back, let alone, do the feet to the side and the back. So I think it's pretty cool.
You got to kind of wedge them back there.
Yeah, and then see where my knees are at. And there's no pain whatsoever.
Now, Mr. Elastic is studying to become a substance abuse counselor to help others turn their own lives around. Thank you. Like to see more of Mr. Elastic, he has a website, Backwards Feet. We're going to post a link on our website, 13abc.com. But he said when he was a teenager and he first found out he could turn his feet around, his dad said, call the newspapers, and his mom said, call the doctors. So here he is. He's fine. He also wants to add, don't try it at home. He's got some special talents.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Tone. Thanks for that one.